So I think the main thing I want to say with this video is to just encourage you to do things, to make art, videos, or write books or anything, because your voice matters. And especially in a time like this where we have war, we have oppression of people, now more than ever, we have people who think that other people should not be allowed to live because they're just born in the wrong place and the wrong time or the wrong body. And I think we need more stories. We need more stories so that we can connect with other people. Hello, my friends, welcome back to the channel. I'm Lisa, and this is not my first BookTube video, but it is my first Authortube video. The big news is that I'm publishing a book. Or not, my book is being published by a publishing company. That is just so mind-blowing to say, because I'm the kind of person who's written all my life. I've always had like a pen in my hand, and from the moment we bought our first computer in my family, yes, I'm that old, I remember that, I sat by it and wrote in my Word document. Like as soon as I got home from school, that's what I did. And to be able to say at the age of 39 that my book is being published is like, it's so big for me. It's absolutely wonderful. And oh yeah, it's gonna be a ride for sure. About my book, it's called Dystopia. It's a bilingual short story collection about death, class, and magic. Half of it is in Swedish and half of it is in English. So if you're English speaking and you want to buy a book that you only can read half of, please let me know. I don't know if any web shops in Sweden actually ship internationally, but just send me an email or something and we'll sort it out. I started to write this book 2013 and it's now 2025. So if you think that you don't write fast enough, don't worry, you write fast enough. It's never too late. Okay, some project that you started 10 years ago, you can still finish it now. It's not a waste of time and you haven't wasted your energy or talent. So I've said this before, but the joy of actually finishing something is almost as good as starting up a new project. So I just encourage you, if you have an old project that's just lying around and you're like, oh, I've wasted my time on this, just finish it and maybe you'll get published. I don't know. I have another Authortube video planned where I tell you more about how I got published and everything. So that's coming up. But now let's do the Authortube Newbie Tag. That's a mouthful if you're Swedish. If I managed to track down the origin of this tag properly, it was originally thought up by Jenna Streety, and she's still on YouTube, so you should go and check her out if you haven't already. Well, I watch a lot of YouTube and I'm into writing and books, so BookTube, about reading mostly, and then it was just natural for me to go deeper into that rabbit hole. I write in speculative fiction, so a mix between fantasy, sci-fi, and sometimes horror. And My short story collection is really all of those genres. It's a weird mix about everything. It's kind of funny, I think, to me, if you have my sense of humor. So it's not like super serious all the time, even though some of those genres can be very serious. So I like to have a little bit of absurd humor in everything that I write. I don't actually have a preferred writing stance or point of view. I think I just write in a way that the story wants me to write, if that makes sense. So my book is a mix between everything, but I do write for adults. I don't know. I'm probably a weird mix of all of those. I tend to write my way into the story, and I don't think I could just sit down and very zoomed out being able to construct a good story. I think I need to dive into the actual story before I can do all of the outlining, but then I go back and forth quite a lot. I don't write in a linear way. I normally start at the beginning, and then I just come up with a scene that's for the middle or for the end, and then I try to just weave them all and bridge them all together. However, now when I wrote the short story collection, a short story, it's easier to write in a way that it's not as big as a novel. I think for my short stories, I normally have an idea and I just write my way into this world that I'm writing. I am currently working on my first novel, so I am having a bit of trouble with do I plot or do I just sit down and write? What do I do? I don't know. So maybe I'll have to answer that question when I finish the novel and just find out what I'm actually doing. My friends, as of now, I am a published author. I work with a very, very small publishing company, which is great for me because I'm in control of everything. It's a very fast paced company because if you're in a big publishing house, then it takes forever. But right now, I have a very close contact with my publishers, and it's great. And it's a lot of things to do and think about, but I wouldn't be able to do it on my own. No, no, no. I admire the people who are self published. I could never do that. I'm stressed enough as it is working with publishers. And I think that also answers question number 6, what publishing company? It's a small Swedish publishing company called Vildhallon, translates to wild raspberry. But I will get into detail about all of that in my next Authortube video. I think a lot of the process with publishing a book, maybe I'll take you on tour with me if I'm going to like a festival or a book fair or anything like that. And also after that, hopefully I'll get to bring you along when I'm writing my very first novel. So it's going to be a mix between like having already published a book and writing blogs, I think. But if there's anything you want to see more of, is there anything you're interested in that I've said now, just let me know because it would be absolutely wonderful to bring you along for the ride. I started writing as soon as I could read, almost immediately. I taught myself to read when I was about 4 years old, and shortly after that, I actually started to write. I wrote some really lovely comic books about a horse called Smokey. So I drew the drawings and I wrote the story underneath. And then when I was about 7, I started to write this book about a little gnome, I think, or a little like Santa's helper type of thing called Nisse and his friend Toady. And I actually think I managed to write a whole book about Nisse and Toady. I don't have it anymore, which is very sad. Okay, this next one is a bit tricky. Oh my god, I've read so many books over the course of my life. I actually don't know. I think as a kid, I read a lot of horse books because I'm an equestrian. But when I actually started to have like my own sense of telling stories, I was very influenced by Terry Pratchett. I think I read all of the Discworld books that we had in the library, and I absolutely loved him. And through that and through Good Omen, I also got into Neil Gaiman when I was a little bit older. Of course, J.K. Rowling the Harry Potter books, they affected me so much because I was about the same age as Harry when they first came out. So I sort of grew up reading Harry Potter as a lot of us did. Now, I don't agree with anything that J.K. Rowling says or does anymore. It's so far away from my own values. But I can't take away that Harry Potter it's like a core book series for me. Unfortunately, I still read them for comfort. And also, of course, Neil Gaiman has turned out to be a very problematic person, but I can't take him away from what I've read and how I write either, because he's such a big influence. So it is hard when your favorite authors turns out to be very far away from you in terms of values and respect of other people. I think as an adult, Sara Bergmark Elfgren, who was the co-writer of The Circle, the Engelfors trilogy, maybe you've heard about that. Of course, Stephen King is amazing. I started to read Stephen King when I was a little bit older, so he's not part of my teenage years, maybe my early 20s. John Ajvide Lindqvist, who's like Sweden's answer to Stephen King. And a quite new one that inspired me very much is actually Heather Fawcett, who wrote Emily Wilde books. I actually read the first Emily Wilde book and I went straight to my computer and I wrote a short story for my short story collection just out of pure inspiration from reading that book. So that was kind of cool. That doesn't happen a lot. If you want to read it, I'm sorry, it's in Swedish. It's called The Undiscovery of Alberge. This is actually my main thing that I answer when people ask me, like, how do you write? I absolutely schedule writing time or any creative time. I learned that from a dear friend called Lars Lindqvist from a band called Billy the Vision and the Dancers. And he absolutely swears by this method. And I do too. Like, book time off in your calendar, sit down and do art. If it's bad, it doesn't matter. But if you take that time and you sit down and you start doing it, things will happen. It's like my main routine. It's the only thing that I actually do. Apart from that, I don't know what I'm doing. I do some bits really like rigidly, write every day, and then I stop and then I go back and I'm a complete mess. But sitting down on a scheduled time and do shit. That's how I do it. As you can see here, this is when you normally sit. I have this notebook. I use the notebook very much, and I have my lovely computer, and I use a mix of those two. And sometimes I even write in my phone. My phone normally goes here, but you're in my phone right now. Used to use Word quite a lot, and now I've just started Scrivener because I thought I needed that for finishing my novel. So I'll let you know if it's any good. I've used it for a couple of days and I already love it. So I think it's going to be for me. This is my writing room, my little studio. You've probably seen most of it if you followed me for a little while. And it's basically a tiny little room in my garden. That's where I live normally. And this is my view. So yeah, it's very nice. I think it's going to be lovely to mix my BookTube content, reading and recommending books and do stuff like that, because I love that, with the actual being creative and writing. Yeah, I'm looking forward to like sharing my creative methods as well, a lot actually. I'm a creative person. I've been a musician by trade for quite a few years now, so I kind of know how to kickstart my creativity, but I don't know how to write a book. So I'm looking forward to exploring that with you, and also find out a little bit about myself and how I write, because I don't know that. It's weird because I just said that I've written my whole life, but I still don't know what I'm doing. Do you ever? So I think the main thing I want to say with this video is to just encourage you to do things, to make art, like, or videos or write books or anything, because your voice matters. And especially in a time like this where we have war, we have oppression of people, now more than ever, we have people who think that other people should not be allowed to live because they're just born in the wrong place and the wrong time or the wrong body. And I think we need more stories. We need more stories so that we can connect with other people. So if you've been thinking about, I want to do this, I would love to write a book. I hear that a lot when I'm telling people now that I've written a book. A lot of people say, oh, that's my dream as well. Well, just do it. You know how to write, I suppose. So you probably have a computer. Just write a book. It doesn't have to be good. If you enjoy writing it, then it's a good book. It's not about making everything perfect. Just write it and write your story and share it with other people and share it with me. So if you have written a book, or like if you are a writer as well as a reader, please let me know in the comments. I would love to connect with you, and I will see you next time. Bye.